Hello, this is Ed Rigsbee. I'm the author of the book that you probably have in your hand, The ROI of Membership, today's missing link for explosive growth. Well, what I wanted to talk to you about was the book. Well, you've probably read chapter 1 by now, and you've taken a look. You've looked at the executive action steps and some things that I think are kind of important for us to talk about before you go to the next chapter. Now, the first thing I talked about was Priceless. Well, I think that's something that I really want to get into just a little bit. And you've heard it. You've heard it many times. Maybe you've even used it yourself. Maybe you've said, oh, membership in our organization is priceless. And, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But, what I believe is that when you say membership is priceless, what you're really saying is, I don't have a clue what it's worth. I don't know. And what I believe, if it's valuable, it can be measured. And if it can be measured, we can assign real dollars to it. So the thing that I would hope that you pull out of, at least the first chapter, if nothing else, when you hear somebody say membership is priceless in your organization, you go, oh yeah, that's great, it is. And let me tell you what it's worth in real dollar numbers. Now, another thing that we talked about in the first chapter was employers aren't paying anymore. Well, a lot of organizations will use that as an excuse that, we've had, member bleeding, we've had member drop off. And since some of the big corporations there's been consolidations and other things, the economy's bad, well, they're just not paying for memberships, and so the members aren't going to pay for it themselves. Well, what does that really mean? Well, think about it. What that really means, if the member is saying, well, I'm not going to pay for membership, what it really means is they don't see any value in the membership. So what I'd like you to do, especially is, as you go through the book and you start learning how to value membership, I think it's going to be very, very important for you to be thinking about those members that say, well, my employer isn't paying, and they're probably non-members now, for you to go back, to reach out to those people and talk to them about the value proposition. And then when they talk about, well, my employer doesn't pay, then you can talk about the career development. So another thing in chapter 1 I talked about was the givers and the takers. And sometimes people get a little upset with this, and because they read or hear that, givers are the baby boomers and takers are the young people. Well, kind of, but not exactly. There's the tendency, people that are young in their career, they tend to be the takers. Now, yeah, sure, a lot of times that is a younger person, but it can be people of all ages. The givers tend to be the people that are older in their career, and yeah, right now it probably is baby boomers, but there are younger people that are further along in the career, and they're the givers. The givers are kind of the people that you love them. You go, hey, no matter how good the meeting is, I'm going to still come. No matter, how poor the value proposition is, I'm going to still belong and support my industry. And God bless those people. Unfortunately, a lot of those people are dying off. So we have to look at new ways to help the takers to move into the givers. And through this book, I think you'll find that. At the end of the first chapter in the executive action steps, I talked about that I really want you to see your organization through the eyes of the non-member. Well, this comes from the member ROI summits I do around the country. And one of the first things I talk about in those summits to the attendees is, you've really got to be able to see your organization through the eyes of the non-member. In my work, maybe you've noticed in the front of the book that I've written several books on partnering. One of the things in partnering is I've talked about is you can't create value for your partner if you don't understand what drives your partner, if you don't understand what your partner considers to be valuable. Then what you're doing is things for your partner that they don't consider to be valuable, and then you're upset because they don't appreciate it, and they're upset because they don't think you're doing anything for them. So bringing that back to home here, in your association, if you can see your organization through the eyes of the non-member, now you see it through a different light because you are jaded right now. How you see your organization, how you see the value proposition, all the things that you see that your organization does, you just think, well, these people should naturally get it. Well, let me here tell you, they don't. So if you see the organization from the eyes of the non-member, how you put yourself out there, what's on your website, how you advertise, what your shows are like, then it starts to become a little bit easier to understand why that person's a non-member and how to bring them into the fold. Also, in the executive action step, I talked about, turning the features of membership into benefits and explaining the benefits. This is also from the Member ROI Summit. See, the thing is, you deliver features of membership. Great, wonderful, fabulous. And people don't buy features, they buy benefits. We'll be talking about that a lot more real soon in future chapters. But what I want you to think about is what you really have to do is talk benefit, talk how it makes your life better. So when you're talking to the non-member about membership, about why they might want to be part of the group, talk to them about how it makes their life better. And then the last thing, and what a lot of this book is about, is measuring the value in real dollar numbers. And, the thing is, I know there's a lot of older folks in associations that are the baby boomers, and they go and try to talk to the younger people, and they say, hey, you really should join our association because we do a lot of really good advocacy work for the industry, and that really helps. And the younger person says, yeah, well, I get that value anyway. And then the baby boomer's like, yeah, okay, I got nothing. And their jaw hits the floor. So through this book, you're really going to discover ways to assign real dollar value numbers to the features of membership, and then your members can become member recruitment evangelists. So that's, before I go, I was going to say that's about all for chapter 1, but not one last thing. The next executive action step was my recommendation for you to join the LinkedIn Member ROI group. I would highly suggest you do this. This group is only for association execs and staff and society execs and staff. And yeah, there's a couple people that were association execs and now they're consultants, and I didn't kick them out of the group. So, there's one or two. But it's not like many of the LinkedIn groups where every time you ask a question, there's 5,000 vendors offering you an answer. No, this is really predominantly colleague to colleague. So I really would encourage you, go to LinkedIn, find the Member ROI group. It's Member ROI for Associations and Societies. Join it, and you'll get lots of good information. Well, thank you again for looking at Chapter 1. Thank you for buying the book. And I really believe that as we go through this book together, it's going to be an amazing journey. So I'll sign out for now and let you get to Chapter 2. Thanks again.